Welcome to Prevention, the television talk show produced by the Angel Saving Lives Foundation. I'm your host, German Angel, founder and CEO of the Angel Saving Lives Foundation. Today, we have a very special guest. She has been a social worker for 10 years and is the executive director of Inside Health and Wellness. Please welcome Melinda Drake. Melinda, how are you? Thank you so much for being here. How was you driving to get here? I know that 405 is always packed.
That's why I took 110.
You took the 10. Melinda, tell us about you. Tell us about your work. Tell us about how long you've been doing all this social work.
Well, first, thank you for saying just a decade. It's actually been 3 decades that I've been a clinical social worker. First in South Carolina, then made it to Hawaii, New York, and for the last 4 years, I've been here in California.
Yeah.
And it's been a decade that I've been working in addiction.
Really?
Prior to that, it's been pure mental health, and I'm so glad actually that you invited me because you're talking about underage drinking,
Yes.
which means adolescent,
Yes.
and that's where I started. For the last few years, I've been working with only adults.
Yeah.
And you really got me into rethinking things, and believe me, I'm already working on a new program designed just for the adolescents, so thank you for getting me to think back of my roots.
But Melinda, before we start talking about underage drinking, I would like to know more about you. How you became a social worker and where you're from originally, and tell us the beginning of your career.
Oh gosh, I was born in Manila, and somewhere along the line found myself in South Carolina.
Okay.
I actually did not know that South Carolina existed until I got there. But having been there, I worked for the Social Services, Department of Social Services. And I'm one of the very few people that most likely is an accidental social worker.
How you end up? How you found that job? You probably were what in your early 20s, or you were
I was
really
in my
young?
early 20s, and gosh, I started working there because it was the only job available in King Street, South Carolina. And working there, you see children going back and forth, being moved from foster care homes almost every day. And sadly, when they're moved, they're usually, they gathered everything that they have in garbage bags. And that is not a pretty sight at all. So for the first time in my life, I look at what can you do, and I wrote my first grant ever. And it's really a very small grant just to get duffel bags for children.
Okay.
Nicely, I got the grant, and after that, I decided, should do another thing that's also as important for children,
Yes.
birthdays. So my second grant was actually about giving birthday parties to foster care kids.